forward. Clay is our head elder, and he has been an elder since 1992. I should say he was not the head elder at that time. He's been an elder since 1992. Well, that's 32 years, so that's quite an endeavor. Clay, you want to say a few words?
So, those of you that were at the church service this morning, Brett did a wonderful job talking about 1988 and up. Well, I started just a little bit before that, so I'm going to tell you what it was, a little bit about what it was like my year. So, those of you that know Fred and Lou Benzie, they were great people at our church that were custodians and were there all the time. My first recollection, I thought they lived there. Every time I was at church, they were there. And so one time I said to Mom and Dad, I feel sorry for them, they don't have a house. So Mom and Dad had to drive me by where they lived. But I was probably 2 or 3 at the time. And anyway, that was my mindset. Then there was Sunday school, Herb Welke. We had a big Sunday school and a big opening. And Herb liked order and discipline. You better be sitting down, you better have your mouth shut, and you better be listening. Because if you weren't, he was going to explain it to you. So, confirmation. Our confirmation was 3 years, every Saturday morning, followed the school year. It wasn't a negotiable thing. You were at confirmation class on Saturday morning, and it was the same deal. You better be ready to learn and ready to listen. Well, I don't remember what I did, but at the time, Pastor Dorn told me that if he didn't have the love of God in him, he was going to throw me through the wall. Mike, do you remember what I did?
Throw him to what?
My memory dropped off. Yeah, well, guess what? I got confirmed anyway. That's called grace. I needed a lot of grace. Then, Emil Crow. He was our head usher. Same deal. Tight ship. Better pay attention, better be there. When it was your turn to serve, that was non-negotiable, you needed to be there. Emil was a very nice man, and I learned a lot from him. And one thing I'll never forget, the way he explained it, you lit the candles from the top down, and you unlit them from the bottom up. God comes down to us in this service, and our prayers go up to Him. I remember that. And there was Waltha League. Any of you guys remember that?
Yeah.
We had great camping trips, fun hay rides, car washes for fundraisers. It was really an easy time to grow up at Trinity. There was a lot of us, and we all jumped in and helped. Then there was something else that happened at Trinity while I was there.
You got married.
I met my wife. So I used to sit in the pew with my mom, and these girls were little, there was 5 of them. And I used to tell my mom, I'm not going to be able to keep my mind on the sermon when these girls turn 16. And she would scold me and give me a hard time. And Tammy turned 17 and I asked her out. The rest was history. So now you hear this about me and you're all sitting there going, how the heck did this clown get to be an elder? Most of you that seen me grow up, some of you were there that night and voted for me, and I have no idea. But anyway, there was a wise man, a very, very stately and pillar of our church named Bob Wise. And I was on the nominating committee. And my duty was to go around and nominate for all the different openings. So Bob had been our parish president, had been an elder, he had done it all. I thought, that's a good catch, I'm going to go talk to him. So I did. He said, on one condition, Clay, you have to run also. I laughed inside. Ain't nobody voting for me. Yeah, sure, Bob, I'll do that. Night rolls around, ready to do the vote. Bob stands up. Wants everybody to vote for me because we need youth in our church. We need to move forward. I'm looking at him going, that wasn't in the deal. When the smoke cleared, he got one vote. Mine. So I'm like panic mode. But we had a head elder named Vernon Lineman, and he immediately came to me, and he immediately started to mentor me and tell me what it was like to be an elder.
I didn't understand what you
And
said.
he was doing this in December. January rolled around for the first meeting, and I felt a little more comfortable, but the whole time I was saying these 3 years can't go fast enough. So the first meeting went fine. It might not be so bad. Second meeting, Pastor Lotion says, hey, by the way, I got a call. I'm looking at Vernon, what does that mean? Next meeting, he said, I've accepted the call. Back to panic mode. I was losing my mind. I'm like, now what are we going to do? Well, we got through it, and we moved on. So Pastor Lotion was with us 16 years. But over the next 14 years, we went through 5 different pastors. Some of them I really liked. And then they would leave. And then, that they would leave. And I was personally hurt. To me, it was kind of like a divorce. I'm like, hey, what's going on? So, next thing you know, we got this character named Pastor Cum as our vacancy pastor. And we extended a call to him. So by this time I was pretty bold and was tired of pastors coming and going. So and this is, you can ask pastors, very true. So I told him, I made it very clear that if he didn't stay for at least 7 years, I would shoot him dead. And I meant it. Well, and I also told myself, I'm done falling in love with these guys, done with it. 2 months into it, I fell in love with him. So, he did stay 7 years and I didn't have to shoot him. But that was a good thing. So, my mother-in-law, who was a great lady, told me that this church was her family and it was her home. Me too. Me too. Those of you that know, Tan and I had some bumps in the road. But this church stood with us. And loved us and made us feel wanted. Made me very glad to be a member, lifelong member. Trinity Lutheran Church is not the flashiest or the most hip, but we have a rich heritage of law and gospel with grace. I tell visitors all the time, if you're looking for a church full of sinners, you came to the right place, and I'm being the biggest one. I had somebody one time asked me, why do you go to church every Sunday? I said, well, I'm a lifelong member, I'm a Christian, and I blow it every day. And I need Christ to renew me and to remind me that He is there for me, and He'll stand with me. I don't get that anywhere else in the world, but I get it at Trinity. And I'm glad I'm a member.